Hey folks. Hey guys. This is my first time on YouTube going live. I've done it before on TikTok, but not on YouTube. So I thought I would come on here and get comfortable. I was going to come on here and get comfortable. I don't like that. So I'm gonna move. So I am here. My name is Carolyn, and I decided that I was going to spend some time crocheting with you. Let's see. What can we do? Flip it. I don't like it like that. But I guess that's how people see it. All right, so my name is Carolyn, and I just wanted to come on here and crochet a little bit because I have had a very stressful few days, few weeks, and I thought that crocheting would make me feel better. So this is my very first time that I am coming on here live. I've done it on TikTok before, but not on YouTube. So welcome. It is a Sunday. Pretty dreary where I am. I'm in Philadelphia right now. This light is too bright. Way better. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about. I think I've been experiencing some autistic burnout, and one of the ways that I like to treat my burnout is by crocheting. So I wanted to come on here and just crochet and get some things off of my chest. I am autistic. I have ADHD. I've been through a lot, and one of my favorite ways to decompress and to unwind and to not ruminate is to crochet. So I have been obsessed with this. I started a few months ago. It hasn't really been long, but I love it and I highly recommend it. It is beneficial for both my autism, which requires some consistency and repetition, but it's also terrific for my ADHD. Sorry, as I keep bouncing around here. It's also great for my ADHD because I can do whatever project I want. So bear with me as I get completely caught up in my yarn here. Oh, I'm gonna have to cut this off. So thank you for joining. I think I'm experiencing some autistic burnout. So I thought I would come on and chat about it. And maybe while processing some of this, I will feel better. And I'm going to also be crocheting while I chat about being burnt out. Thank you guys so much for joining. Please tap, share. If you're not already following, my name is Carolyn. I am autistic. I have, I'm autistic. I have ADHD, so AuDHD. And I love to crochet. And I'm kind of just trying to create a cozy little place on the internet for people who might also enjoy crocheting and talking about being late diagnosed autistic human. So this is what I'm making. It is a hexagon cardigan, and I live in Philadelphia. I'd love to know where you guys are joining from. I'm Canadian, but I live in Philly, and I have for almost 10 years now. I love it here, um, raising my children in the city. But so I'm making a Phillies inspired cardigan, and I've got another one back here, but my dog is sleeping on it, so I'm not gonna show right now. Um, so yeah, thank you guys for joining. I am I don't know how many people here know how to crochet. If you're just curious about it, if you're just wanting to watch, I find it to be very relaxing, both doing it myself and watching other people. So, Alexa, shuffle spa music. I hope that hasn't turned any of your Alexas on, which always ends up happening. So, yeah, I think I'm experiencing some autistic burnout. And it feels a little bit like depression. Maybe it leads to a little bit of depression. Mm, Life just feels like it's been really, really hectic, and I've been just taking on too many projects. Um, Having both autism and ADHD means that I am very impulsive and then I really regret it afterwards. So I commit to far too many things, and I need like the pressure of like last minute to really motivate me to do things. And so that's where I've kind of been stuck. I had a couple things on my to-do list. Um, and let me know, like comment or tap the screen if you also need the pressure of a last minute deadline, or feeling like failure is the only way that you can be encouraged to get something done. Because honestly, if it's not life threatening, I can put it off for far too long. And then I can also just get carried away with special interests and also ignore things that I know I should be doing and that never take a long time. I don't know about you, but some of the tasks that I spend so much energy worrying about, when I actually sit down to do them, they can take like 10 minutes. That's it. And it seems ridiculous. And that's how I know that it is a disability, because why in the world would I spend weeks procrastinating on something that I know is only going to take 10 minutes, and I would feel so much better if I just got it done. So, my name is Carolyn, and I am autistic. I have ADHD. I am currently crocheting a hexagon cardigan, and I've been going through a lot. So, I wanted to talk about some of the symptoms that I experience when I start going through burnout. Um, Everything becomes overwhelming. Like foods become overwhelming. The idea of making any decisions becomes overwhelming. I feel like I need to simplify a lot. So that might mean eating the same thing day after day, just so I can get on top of things. Because right now it's like decision fatigue. It's just too many things that I'm worrying about. So, well, all right, let's back this up. So I have children too. And if you have children and you are on the spectrum, then the amount of overwhelm for that is just incredible. They are loud little humans. They are all over the place. I've asked my children if we can get a whiteboard so when they're telling me their stories, they can write it down and I can follow what in the world they're talking about, because like children are not, it's not linear or logical thinking. So summer has started and they are now with their father. So I've got a much needed break. And I think because I've got this much needed break now, it's all hitting me all at once. And so I just feel exhausted. And yeah, it's like all hitting me all at once. The same thing happens, actually, the same thing happens when I go to a silent meditation retreat. Um, there's no talking, reading, writing, no eye contact. Just fantastic for me. I love it so much. Oh, just a little side. If you've never been to a silent meditation retreat and you are autistic, might I suggest that you absolutely check it out, because the structure is phenomenal. Not having to have small talk is wonderful. And I could not recommend it more. Has anyone gone to a silent meditation retreat? Do you think that's the kind of thing that you'd be interested in? It's my happy place. I will go away for 5 to 7 days and not talk and be really, really happy. But all that to say, generally, when I do go away on a silent meditation retreat, um, after the first day or two, your body just kind of shuts down and everyone becomes really tired and lethargic. And it's your body. I mean, we're just, even if you're not on the spectrum, our bodies are just constantly go, go, go. Like there's no downtime for us. There's no just arriving and settling in. Like even here, I needed to remind myself to take a breath and I don't know. I can also ignore my basic needs pretty easily. So that can also lead to autistic burnout for me. I can become dehydrated just because I forget to drink. I can forget to eat. I can get so locked in on something that I just ignore all of my other needs. Is anyone else like that? If you are on the spectrum. All right, so I am making a cardigan. It is a hexagon cardigan. It is inspired by the Phillies. So I live in Philadelphia. I am Canadian, but I live in Philadelphia, and this is what it's gonna look like. Oh, shoot, that was the worst side to show. Okay, when it's together, this is what it's gonna look like. Ooh, there we go. So this is what I'm working on. This is what I'm hoping is going to be able to help me while I'm dealing with my burnout. It's really that. It's because I had my kids for a very long time on my own. When you don't have, I have community, but it's not the same. I'm also a single mom, and having 2 children, to just all the mental load of having to raise 2 children. And I really get along with my ex-husband. So that is very fortunate. I'm very lucky that we get along. But it's just exhausting. And parenting anyway is hard, but parenting while you are autistic and while you have another child who's also on the spectrum. So I'm sure a lot of people end up feeling this way, that they discover that they are autistic, especially late diagnosed autistic humans. They find out that they are on the spectrum because of their child. And that was very much my case. My son both of my children have amazing pattern recognition. I would say one has ADHD and excels in many areas, can't stay still, but has amazing emotional control and not at all like me. And then my other son is, I think, both autistic and ADHD. And his meltdowns triggered my meltdowns so intensely. My first child was so easy to raise, and we were very similar in the easy to get along with and people pleasing, and just a very independent person who likes to hang out with adults, and my second son is not at all like that. He always needs to have someone who entertains him. Thanks for joining, by the way. I am crocheting this cardigan. It's a hexagon cardigan, and just discussing how I have had quite a busy couple weeks, and I've been experiencing autistic burnout, which means that getting anything done lately has been a monumental task. It has required all of the energy, and outwardly, no one would know. No one would know, because I feel like if you're really great at masking, you just keep it to yourself. And so, yeah, no one would know. But that's why I wanted to come here, is to talk about it so that I don't have to feel alone. And I can say that it has been really difficult. It is difficult to feed one's self. It is difficult to get work done that is not interesting and exciting. And I am behind on a lot of things. And now that my kids are gone, I am trying to rest and prioritize. And so I'm just making myself accomplish one or two tasks a day right now as I deal with this. Because then the guilt and the shame, I feel like that's almost worse. That is worse. That's how you know it's not fun. Like being stuck in like a freeze state and wishing you could find the energy to do things, and knowing that you're just getting further behind and that you need to get things done, and yet still it's hard to find the motivation. It feels ridiculous. It also feels like I have to check myself when I'm parenting my children, and they talk about how something might be really difficult, and one part of me wants to say, come on, just do it, or just eat it, or just whatever. And to realize they're not being difficult. Like they're not trying to cause issues. They really do have certain mental blocks or difficulties with textures and sensations. And we are all super tasters in my family. We all are very particular about the foods that we eat and the textures. I worked at Starbucks for a while, and I was amazing at tasting coffees and at identifying which one was which. So I thought that was kind of neat. Some interesting things about food and being a super taster, or being able to, if I eat salt and vinegar chips, I will sweat so badly. I think I've got an allergy to the vinegar in it, but like all on my eyes, and I love salt and vinegar chips. Also, growing up in Halifax, Nova Scotia, we always had vinegar with our French fries, and I don't think that they have that in America, and I really think that that is a shame, because it is fantastic, and I really think that you should consider having it at your restaurants. Just not the same, just like white vinegar, not the same as like a malt vinegar. That's okay. So, just thinking about it, just talking about vinegar. Okay, I can feel it. Like I am so sensitive in a very debilitating way. My children cannot tell me that they are injured if they're not injured, because I will feel whatever pain they feel. If they fake being sick or fake breaking a bone, I will feel the pain that they have just experienced. And which I think is interesting, because don't people usually say autistic humans don't have empathy? No. I have all of the empathy. I have all of the empathy that some people didn't get. I got way too much of it. Like it really is debilitating. I can't watch the news. Well, not that I would want to. I can't watch the news. Okay, but it's a dichotomy, right? Because I love watching some tragic things, because I feel like trauma is almost when I feel a little bit at my calmest, which is, I'm sure, not too unusual. But I tried watching the documentary about Travis Scott and Astroworld, and I got 15 minutes into that, and it was just too much. I could not, I physically could not handle it. And I'm at a filmmaking school. We get film recommendations twice, two films a week that we have to watch. And it is just so difficult for me to watch. Some of these are just so painful and so traumatic. And so, yeah, I have got all of the empathy. So don't believe it. Don't believe that autistic people don't have empathy. That's not right. I have a ton. It is too much empathy. My mirror neurons are just like through the roof. So, and that's actually served me very well because one of my children was also epileptic, and he was having a seizure, not a grand mal seizure. So he still had muscle tone, but he just oh my gosh, partial seizure. He outgrew it a couple years ago, so I can't remember exactly the name. But um, had I not been as sensitive as I was, it looked like he just kind of drifted off and he just was in a daze. And I realized that there was something that was wrong. And, not, I just don't think that had like my husband been the one to see it, I don't think he would have noticed. So my sensitivity has been a gift because it saved one of my sons because we were able to see that something was wrong. We brought him to the children's hospital. He was diagnosed with epilepsy. He had several seizures after that, and he was on medication for many years. And we would go for follow-ups to be able to get EEGs on his little brain. And he ended up outgrowing it when he was 10, which is phenomenal because they say with childhood epilepsy, there's like a 30% chance of everything that it will either get better, it'll get worse, or it'll stay the same. And so for my son, it got better, and he has now been off his medication for a couple years now. So he's a teenager. We don't have to worry about him. He's able to swim, he can bike, he can do all of the things. But I think it was because of my sensitivity, being autistic, that allowed me to recognize that there was something that was wrong with my son that was not outwardly very apparent to anyone else. But I saw it. And both of my children, we've been through a lot. Both of my children have anaphylaxis. They have life-threatening food allergies. And both of them have had to have their EpiPens on multiple occasions. So one of my sons had peanut, and I was very aware that you can have a reaction to food allergies like 2 hours after an allergen is given. First, thank you so much for joining. My name is Carolyn, and I am crocheting this cardigan. It is a Phillies-inspired cardigan, so great for baseball season. I live in Philadelphia. I am Canadian, but I, support the city. And I've got a son who I'm pretty sure is going to love wearing this. So I needed to stay both busy and occupied. But only to like a manageable amount. So I wanted to socialize, but I don't want to go out into the world right now. And it's rainy and dreary outside, so I'm feeling a little bit down. And yeah, I thought I would just come on here and connect and see what other people are up to. Thank you guys for joining. I am crocheting a cardigan. It's a hexagon cardigan, and it's actually very easy to do. Once you understand how to do like one cluster, a granny cluster. Alexa, volume up. So it's just this, like, this stitch here. 1, 2, 3. You just keep doing that over and over and over. And there are 6 sides to it. And all you have to do is just take one end, and when you fold it together, totally lose my hook here. Oh, well. When you fold it together, you've got the beginnings of a sweater. See? I love it. Actually, let me show you. Sorry, can I take this? Oh, sorry, Sachi. Oh, okay, that's my dog. That's Sachi. Sachi, which is short for Versace, because she's a fancy little toy poodle. Please tap the screen if you like little toy poodles. So this is the cardigan that I made for one of my kids, my son. And I just finished weaving in all of the ends. Actually, that's what I should do right now. I should just weave in the ends. But these are the colors that he picked, and I'm very happy with it. I'm also Canadian, so I feel like these colors are great. Like, I could absolutely wear this for Canada Day in my country. Oopsies. That's not right. I'm going to have to take care of that. So, I love it. I love this cardigan so much. I love this pattern. By having one pattern, I can decide like the right amount of decision making. I just have to choose which colors I want, and then what kind of sleeve that I want to give it. I've got another one somewhere. I've got another one, and it's got these really wide sleeves on it, they're really lovely, and they can sometimes like accidentally dip into the sink, which is a problem. So I tapered these sleeves. Don't know what I'm going to do for this one, but it's like the perfect amount of creative freedom, but also structure. So that's why I love to crochet. I think it is, first of all, it's not too expensive of a hobby. So if you have ADHD and you find yourself wanting to bounce through a ton of different hobbies, it can become very expensive. Any hobby that requires cameras or lenses or lighting, that is definitely expensive. And I know this because I'm a photographer who has been in lighting and done gaffing. And every time I go down that special interest rabbit hole, I always end up spending way more money than I wanted to. So crochet is a much more wallet-friendly hobby to have. And yeah, I got this one little kit off of Amazon for like $9. It's got everything that you could want. And then just go get a ball of acrylic yarn. I definitely am not a yarn snob. I'm not a snob anything, but I don't care about yarn. I frankly have so many allergies that I wouldn't really want wool. So acrylic is fine with me. And yeah, I'm at a film making and acting school, and so I will bring this with me wherever I go so that when I'm sitting there and having to pay attention, I can socially acceptably stim and stay engaged and pay attention to what is happening, but also doing something. I'd love to know if anyone else out there knits or does any other kind of fiber arts. Tap the screen like this if you're enjoying conversation. If you have any questions, I would love to be able to hear from you. I can keep talking about autistic burnout, what it feels like, but honestly, I'm not really into it. I think I'm that burnt out that I don't really want to. So instead, I'll just crochet. Alexa, volume up. I put a spa channel, but it's so quiet. Too spa. If you're on the autism spectrum, I wonder if you also experience ASMR. Um, I definitely do. But again, I feel like with autism and ADHD, everything is such a dichotomy. Like I despise light touch if I don't want to be touched lightly. If someone comes close or invades my personal space, I cannot stand that. But I also love light touch if it's deliberate and I ask for it. So in some ways it can be the best thing, like having my scalp touched or my hair played with, or like tracing on my back was always something that I loved growing up. I thought it would send shivers down my spine. I really, really enjoyed it. But then any light touch that is unwanted is just there's just no gray with I just don't have a lot of gray. I either love something or I really dislike it. No, or a special third option, which is that I both absolutely love it and absolutely hate it equally at the same time, and that's the dichotomy. So, I say finding out that you're autistic, especially late in life, it's really helpful because it's like finding out that all along you were a zebra in a family of horses, and that you were trying to figure out why you were so different from all of these horses. But it's because you were a zebra. So I find it interesting now to look back at how there were a lot of signs that I was autistic growing up. If you try to get diagnosed later in life, they ask you, so did anyone say anything when you were growing up? Did your parents complain? Did your teachers, like, did anyone mention that there was an issue? And the answer is absolutely not. I was like the best child growing up. I think everything about my autism actually made me very easy to parent, and it went completely undetected. And yet there were absolutely signs. Like, well, I talked nonstop. I would not stop talking, so that was definitely stimming. But I knit for everyone in my family constantly. Like everyone got scarves and blankets and just a bunch of rectangular stuff. There was no creativity. It was just all I knew how to do. There wasn't YouTube then, so I was limited by my imagination. So, but I made a ton. Despite that, I made a ton of scarves, and I did learn how to make baby hats. And so I made some baby hats, and I even donated them. So like there were signs for sure that I was different. I also find it a little frustrating, and I feel like people who are on the spectrum can relate to this, that if you've been told your entire life that you are a little weird, a little like not getting certain things, or things are a little slower for you, or whatever it is, and then you finally figure out, oh shoot, I think it's because I'm on the spectrum. I think it's this is what's happening. I think, and then you go through all of the imposter syndrome. And no, that can't be it, because I don't know how other people's journeys go. But I first started by thinking that I was just a highly sensitive person. And highly sensitive led to ADHD, and then ADHD led to autism, and then I realized it was all of it. And so as I was figuring this out and I was becoming more and more excited about like, hey, this is what I'm experiencing and how wonderful I'll be able to share it now with everyone who's been trying to figure out what the heck is going on with me because I'm so sensitive to things. I take things so literally. Um, I tell them like, "Hey, this is the thing. Turns out I'm autistic." And they say, "No, no, no. Everyone's like that." So, that's frustrating. Because like to finally understand what it was and there are, not for nothing, but there's very little research when it comes to women in autism. Like I know for me personally and especially and ADHD, I didn't even think I don't think I even like knew any women who were autistic when I was growing up, but now I realize that they were like all around me. We just didn't know what to call them. And it's also absolutely in my family. One of my aunts, um, she was diagnosed with schizophrenia because she was nonverbal for like 3 decades. She did not speak. She did say her prayers. She was Catholic and she would recite her prayers every day. So she would do that. But otherwise she was mute and she did not speak. And yeah. My mother, who had married into the family for a couple years, she never knew my aunt to speak. And then they got divorced. And then I was able to tell her, oh yeah, Aunt Nan, she has all these conversations now. She's talking to all of us. We play games together. She knows all of the birds. She could identify every bird. She knew every song, every feather. I don't know. She knew birds. She knew all of our birthdays. When I say all, she was one of 10 children, and there were at least 20 grandchildren, and then another 20 great grandchildren. And she would have been able to say what all of our birthdays were and who other special people that were born on the same day as us were. And I mean, and she was the nicest person. She did not have a mean bone in her body. And I don't know. I'm starting to think that maybe when she was nonverbal, maybe the family was just so friggin' overwhelming for her and she just couldn't handle it. Like, I cannot imagine a family of 10, the noise that would be. Like, growing up autistic and there's just that much stimulation around you, like, I can understand. I can understand going nonverbal. So that was one of my aunts, and she was diagnosed as being schizophrenic, and I think that she was just autistic. And so, yeah, this idea that like there's more of it now, I don't think that there's more of it now. I think we just know what to call it and what to not mislabel it as. So, it's difficult too for me to like it's only been the last 2 years that I've even been aware of what it is of who it is that I am and feeling comfortable enough to even talk about it. And I know Autism Acceptance Month was just a little while ago. And I'll make some like public posts in my own circle and my own network of people, but I still feel like there's a lot of misunderstanding and I don't really want to no, I don't really want to like put a target on my back in my personal social media. And so I feel like doing this here will help me to still connect with other people who might be experiencing coming to terms with being late diagnosed. And there's a lot of grief with that, right? Because I mean, again, if the first question that you're asked as an adult is, okay, so what did your parents say? Well, damn it. Like, how bad of a situation are you in that your parents have no idea when you're struggling? And like, it was a pretty abusive situation. So the idea that I would have been noticed was just kind of unreasonable. Anyway, which also goes to show that that's kind of not a really great or fair criteria to ask people, so what did your parents, or like, did they show any concern? Like, they didn't show concern for most things. So no, they probably didn't show concern. And again, being a girl, please tap if you can relate to this. Um, I was a I was a golden child. I was so easy to parent. I did amazingly well at school. I was always top of my class. I was always chosen to do anything that was special for the school, where they needed someone who was responsible and could be accountable and could like show up well for the school. I was always chosen. Like, they knew Carolyn is not going to let us down because she cares so much about rules and um, I fear humiliation so much. Like, that is like one of the biggest fears. So I always excelled. And because I excelled, it made it even harder for my parents to realize that there were issues with me. I would have emotional meltdowns always. I can remember many times yelling, "I hate you," to my parents and storming off and just feeling so overwhelmed because they could not understand the feelings that I had in me. And my father was in the military, like, again, as if he would be like the guy to be the judge or the determining factor of whether there was something wrong when I was a child. Just seems a little bananas. All right, let's see where I'm at here. I want to weave ends in. Okay, so I'm dealing with some burnout, and I think I'm actually almost getting hungry, which would be fun because I haven't felt hungry in a while. Okay, so I am making this cardigan. It is a hexagon cardigan. And when you get two panels together, you just stitch it up on the back and down the side. Add a little bit more towards the bottom so you can get it like extended as much as you'll need. I think I still have to go, let's see, how many rounds is this? I feel like I need 17 rounds on a completed panel. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so I'm working on my 15th round right now, which means I'm going to have another 2. Wait, 15? 16. I'm going to have to do, actually, does it have to be in multiples? No, actually 17 works because, trying to do the math there, when I end up sewing it together, I want the seam on the top to have just 2 rows also. So if I make the last row, like, this would be perfect. So I thought I would have to do 18. I don't know if this is making sense. But anyway, I'm going to have to do 17, and that's going to be perfect. So I've got this one. I've got my other one over there. The first one that I made one panel after the other, and I realized that that was a mistake because I got bored and it was really difficult for me to find the motivation to make the other one. So now I've learned from this, and when I'm done one, I switch to the other. And that way I am working smarter and not harder, and then also I can stay motivated to keep going because it doesn't feel like so painful having to start over. Thank you guys so much for liking this live. I appreciate it. It is a dreary Sunday afternoon, or I guess evening now, in Philadelphia. And I was feeling a little blah. So I thought I would come on here and do some crocheting, work on my cardigan. You know, dealing with autistic burnout, even just something as simple as having to shower becomes really difficult. And like, that's what I'm saying. It's not even just the things that don't bring you joy. Like, everything just becomes a challenge to do. And it requires so much energy. So just showing up in life feels like it requires like 1,000% more energy when I'm dealing with that. So my solution right now is I am going to simplify everything. I'm going to simplify all of the things that I say yes to. I'm going to start thinking about that a lot more because I'm a photographer. I run my own business. I am a single mom. I'm in a filmmaking and acting school. I also volunteer for victims of therapy abuse. I am a responder for them. It's like I've got a lot of things going on. I love to crochet. So I've got a lot going on, and I'm also on the film festival committee for my school right now, and that is requiring a lot of my energy. We had to watch like 60 short films, which was a lot of fun, and it's like short film boot camp. I really enjoy it, uh, but it is a lot of effort and a lot of energy, and just constantly staying on top of the submissions that were coming in. And then now all of the winners or all of the entries for everyone who got into the film festival, they all have to now submit who they want to nominate for the different award categories. And so now they have to send that information in, and I have to put it into a spreadsheet. And I said yes to this a couple months ago before life just started getting really crazy. And so now it's one of those things that is just weighing on me. And it doesn't even take that much time, but I just have to find ways to motivate myself to do it. So I try habit stacking. I don't know if you guys know what habit stacking is, but well, actually, this right now is kind of habit stacking, right? I get to stack creating and getting something off of my chest, which would be like journaling. Um, but journaling just takes way too much time. and and I also get to make something. So this is kind of habit stacking. It's like I get to create. Um, yeah, I make them both more enjoyable because I get to do them together. So while I'm retouching at the computer or I'm editing, I also try to listen to something that is fun and rewarding. So, but yeah, simplifying my life, simplifying my diet. I want to find, if you have any great suggestions, I would love to know about them. I want to find easy, balanced meals that I can make that are high protein and that a 14-year-old would love. And like simple ones that don't require a lot of cleanup. I feel like, um, thanks for joining, by the way. My name is Carolyn. I am autistic. I have ADHD. I've been going through a lot in life and just kind of wanted to come on here and chat. Um, so yeah, meal prep, feeding oneself as an adult anyway is just kind of annoying. Especially when you have children, it feels like you're just constantly making food. And both of my children, of course, they would both have very different tastes for things. So I can never make a crowd pleaser. So sad. So I don't enjoy cooking at all. I can cook. I know how to. I just don't like it at all. I feel like the moment I chop into an onion, it feels like entrapment. It feels like I'm not going to be able to get out of that kitchen until this thing is done. And it makes me honestly feel like a little, like I'm going to hyperventilate a bit. Like even just right now, I feel a little panicky. I don't like it. So I don't love to cook. And yet I have humans to keep alive. So I have to. There's this one guy on Instagram, and he's probably on TikTok too. Joseph Abel or Abel or something. He does high protein foods and recipes. So my son really likes him, and we've made a couple of his recipes. There's like a high protein cheesecake dessert that's pretty good. And I eat for sustenance. I do not eat because of flavor. I don't care. I could eat a bowl of Lucky Charms and be not that that is sustenance. That would be more for a treat. But I could eat the exact same thing day after day, and I don't care to spend my time to make a meal, especially now that there's a good chance half of my children, of my two, are going to even like. So it's very difficult to find things that we all enjoy, but I feel like that would really help with my burnout. Simplifying, having like meal prep stuff. Um, I really should do that. I should just every Saturday do some meal prep. Ooh, one of the recipes that we had, and it was delicious. It was like copying or trying to replicate Chick-fil-A chicken, and it was breading the chicken in cornflakes, crushed up cornflakes, and that was very tasty, and that was easy enough too that my son is able to make it. Really, that's what I should be doing. I should be teaching. I should be having him learn. Ooh, that's it. I need my son to make at least one meal a week. We could have leftovers. He would learn. He's been wanting to learn anyway. So that's what I should do. Work smarter, not harder. He wants to be able to be prepared for when he goes to college. What a responsible thing. He wants to know how to cook. So that's what I'll do. I'll make sure to involve him more in the kitchen. And the other area of my life that I think that I could really simplify and make easier, require less decisions, would be with my wardrobe and clothing. So I think I'm going to go through my clothes and purge a ton. I used to have a capsule wardrobe and I loved it. I would have 30 items and that was it, just my favorite pieces. And so everything that I wore brought me so much joy and it made me feel good to put it on. And then I think when I was going through a lot of trauma, I just started, well, I think I shopped, first of all, a lot of fast fashion stuff that like doesn't even fit nicely. It doesn't look good. It doesn't last long. So I think I've got a lot of that stuff to remove from my wardrobe. Um, but yeah, I think a capsule wardrobe would be really good for calming my nervous system. I get so overwhelmed. It really is too many decisions is just not good for me. Cooking a meal, like I see every type of cuisine in my head. If I think of, okay, what do you want to make? I literally see something from every kind of cuisine in my head. And then I have to decide on what it was that I wanted to make at that. Like, I will have decision fatigue or paralysis, and then I'll go for the bowl of Lucky Charms because that's easier. I still eat really well. I'm still very balanced. It's just I will eat not fun easily. I love a restrictive diet. My kids having food allergies, me having food allergies, it's not a problem at all. I've done gluten free, I've been vegetarian, I've been vegan. I had gestational diabetes when I was pregnant. So I don't mind having a limited diet. What I mind is having too many options. Okay. If you are just joining, I am making a hexagon cardigan while talking about being burnt out. Okay, you make your hexagon and then you take one end, you fold it over, and that becomes your sleeve. So when you put two of these puppies together and you seam it down the back, then you're going to get a cardigan. And what I love about this is once you understand this one stitch, which is a granny cluster, it's like three double crochets. You can go online and find tutorials for this so easily. I just picked up a crochet hook in February. Before that, I had always knit and I made square projects. But a couple months ago, I decided that I wanted to learn how to crochet. So I found out how to do it online. And so with this little kit that I got from Amazon for like $9, and then whatever inexpensive yarn, you can get fancy stuff, but who cares? Honestly, cheap stuff is good because I've got allergies and wool would be far too itchy for me. I love this so much. I'm so excited. Here, let me show you what it looks like when it's done, because I've already made one for my son. This is the one he requested. Please tap the screen if you are enjoying this. These were the colors that my son picked. He, at first, he's a big Niners fan, San Francisco 49ers fan. So he wanted the colors to be Niners inspired. But then, I have to fix that. But then we got to this point and he did not want to add the gold. So I was going to put some gold trim or add some, but he decided he wanted to leave it like this. So that's what we're doing. And as I am also Canadian, I feel like this is really good. If he outgrows this, he's a tall guy already, but if he outgrows this, this works very well for me. So I will just keep it. I'm very happy with it. But yeah, like I just learned to crochet a couple months ago. So if you also have been interested in learning, might I suggest that you pick up a hook because it's not hard. Also, being autistic, I feel like the texture or like just the sensation of being able to crochet is just so wonderful. Like there's something so cozy about this, and I get so many compliments on the other one that I've got. My son was saying that he thinks it's a statement piece, right? It's not fast fashion. It's something that you can tell that it was made with love and it takes time. I love it because I can think about the person that I am crocheting for as I make it for them. I've got all of these ends to weave in, so I'm going to create a goal for myself. To weave them all in right now before I get off of this. If you're not already following, I would love for you to do so. And let's see, what are some other things that I love? All right, so my name is Carolyn. I am on the spectrum. I have autism and ADHD, late diagnosed, highly empathetic, very kind, but also I've got a backbone. So I've been through a lot and I've got a lot to say. I'm at a filmmaking school, and the films that I want to make are all about coercive control. And yeah, how that exists in all areas of life, whether it's in friend groups or at schools or politics. One of my special interests is psychopathology. So being able to detect narcissists and pattern recognition on that is kind of one of my favorite things. I've been through some crazy situations, and I feel like the only way to make sense of them is by bringing them to um, out of the dark and out of secrecy and into the light. So, the things that I've been through, I don't want them to be for nothing. I've learned a lot, and I know that I am not alone in dealing with some of the things that I've gone through. Um, Follow along if you don't mind heavy topics. I wish my family had discussed some of these things when I was growing up because I feel like it would have helped me to protect myself and to not become a victim of some of the same things that they were victims of. And so now I'm very determined to break generational cycles of abuse and not pass on to my children some of the nonsense that happened to me or to my parents. Um, it's I don't know. Not that a lot of us got great modeling growing up as to how to parent well and how to actually care about a child. I mean, I know for me it was you were expected to be seen and not heard, and your needs didn't matter. Um, I am raising my children now in such a different environment where they know that they absolutely matter to me and that they are able to advocate for themselves, and it is okay to say if something doesn't work. I think the other reason that I have such a fascination for psychopathology and narcissism, and um, I think I know that I've been targeted a lot, and I think it's because I have always projected my goodness onto other people. And the fact that I would never be able to hurt someone else, it just doesn't even cross my mind. And I think, yeah, I went to therapy for child abuse, and my doctor happened to be a psychopath, and he recognized that I did not know boundaries properly, and I was, as he said, I was very naive. And he said that was one of his favorite things about me was that I was naive, which at the time I didn't even know I should be offended by it. He even said, "I don't take that the wrong way." Like, oh, I wasn't going to until you said that. So, so I feel a desire to educate a lot of people, especially those who really want to give the benefit of the doubt to some really bad people, that there is not redeeming qualities in everyone. And if you are a person who is full of light and love and compassion and empathy, and you want you want to work things out, and you're happy to put your own needs next, second, and put someone else ahead of you, and you're willing to give them the benefit of the doubt, well, then there's a good chance that you could become a target because you're exactly the kind of person that would allow someone to get away with nonsense. And so part of me does feel like it was my fault that I attracted so many psychopaths in my life, and it's because I did not know I was autistic. I did not know that I did not know social cues and what the hell was happening. And when I went to therapy and my doctor was able to say, "Hey, why don't you have better boundaries?" And I said, "Well, because I just believe not." He actually said, why aren't you more angry with your father?" And I said, "Well, because I think he did the best he could. And I'm willing to forgive him because I feel like when we know better, we do better." And that's all my doctor needed to know to proceed with exploiting me for years. He knew that my character was such that I would believe him anytime that he said, "I'm so sorry, that I didn't want it to be this way." That at my core, I would want to have mercy, and I would feel bad for him. That's the thing. My empathy is so debilitating because I feel bad for my abusers. I had a really bad childhood, and my brother was really, really mean to me. And on the rare occasions that my mother would intervene and actually get try to come to my defense, if I heard her being mean to him, it broke my heart. That's how that's how problematic my kindness, or in that case, that was more probably my trauma, was. It was Stockholm syndrome. I did not want to see him hurt. And I also knew that if he was going to be hurt, that he was going to come after me afterwards for hurting him. But no one explained to me what narcissistic abuse looked like. No one explained to me what autism in women looked like. And now that I understand both of them, now I completely understand how I stayed stuck in these patterns. And I would be curious how often predators, psychopaths, and narcissists target people who are autistic and on the spectrum, because there is a naivete there. There is this feeling of like, no, they couldn't possibly want to harm me for real, right? They do. It shattered me, honestly, when I reached out for help for my doctor, who's my therapist. My whole life was destroyed. But when I reached out for help, I was told to watch documentaries about Ted Bundy. That was the guy that I had been with. It was a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde kind of a situation. And I mean, this was a man who authored books about ethical boundaries in therapy. And I realized I had found him online. He was presenting at a law and ethics conference, as they do, right? As a person who actually harms people would do. They would go and want more attention, more spotlight. And so I realized that he was profiting from my abuse and writing books and papers and honestly creating more plausible deniability for other therapists. That's the biggest problem, because what happens is a narcissist or a psychopath can create the narrative around whatever they want. Like he was my doctor. So I realized that he was probably doing this not just to me. There was no way I was the only person. He was a teacher at an Ivy League school, a professor. He was also the president of the counseling association for my state. So he knew exactly what he was doing, and his passion project was ethical boundaries in therapy. And he wanted to know how he could get away with it. So I knew I was not the only one. There's no way he would have taken the chances that he did with me as his very first time. It was just, anyway, it was very, very calculated. I did report him. He did admit to the abuse. And one of the reasons also that therapy abuse it's so important to be able to explain why boundaries in therapy are so crucial to maintain. First of all, therapy abuse is known as professional incest or professional rape. So it is brainwashing. It is like a cult for one. I mean, if you have a doctor who wants to do harm and you're a patient who's already vulnerable and already open to suggestion, as I was, he had me believing that we were going to be getting married within months of me even being in therapy. Like I imploded my entire life because this man lied pathologically to me. And so quickly he assessed that I was a perfect target. So reporting my doctor to the state and then all the healing that I had to do, I went through like 3 weeks of shock, physical shock, trying to make sense of it. It was the cognitive dissonance of realizing that I had a doctor who I thought had cared about me and I had given him so much grace, and then to realize that it had all been premeditated um, and then now I realize how it's not even, it's so predictable. Narcissists and psychopaths behave so predictably that it's actually why it makes it really difficult for me to go out there in the real world, because I see them everywhere. At my school, which, no surprise, I suppose, I'm at a filmmaking and acting school, and there are many narcissists there. And after experiencing trauma to the degree that I have and having autism, where now my pattern recognition is so dialed in, like I can predict when someone is psychopathic, and people don't want to hear that. Like the other students at my school, they don't want to know that. They don't want to, they would much rather think that I am the issue. So I have to keep to myself. I have to know that these people are out there and they're going to wreak havoc. And also that by me saying something, it just makes me look problematic. So I crochet instead. All right, here we go. I think I'm going to finish this for now. I'll continue on my other one tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for joining me. And I think I'm going to go and make myself something balanced and healthy. And I'm just going to lower my expectations of myself right now, because I feel like I've just been going through a lot, and shame is just not very productive right now. So I'm going to not be shaming myself. Like, at least if I'm going to rest, I may as well enjoy it, right? Instead of beating myself up for not doing something. Like, just enjoy it. Let it be restful. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining. I'll see you again next time. Follow along, please, if you aren't already. Love to see you again. Bye. All right. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Actually, you know what? Let me talk here for a little bit. So I haven't really done that. Okay. Was that annoying, having me staring off there? I don't know. Oh. What I really wish is that it wasn't reversed, but that's okay. I am really freaking hot. Okay. Alexa, shuffle 80s playlist.
Shuffling the playlist. My 80s hard rock mix.
Nope, that's not what I want. Alexa, shuffle 80s playlist on Apple Music.
Shuffling 80s from Apple Music.
Hey guys. Okay, so all right. So now I'm here. Drink some coffee. All right. Well, if I'm gonna stay, I may as well crochet. I hope that's all right. I don't know if you can hear the song. It is my favorite song. It is We Built the City on Rock and Roll. And I love it. It's my favorite song. I don't even care. All right, so. Well, that's not going to work. What is even happening here? Aha, there we go. Okay, now I got it. Hey guys, so I think I'm not gonna crochet.